Blue is a company you may have heard of. In the wider world, they're known for their Yeti microphone that seems to be ubiquitous for streamers and streamers. They're also the manufacturers of such mics as the Blueberry, Dragonfly, and Bottle microphones, which are more in the line of professional microphones, like we're talking $1,000 and over. And when Logitech bought Blue, I was pumped because I thought they were gonna shoehorn some amazing microphone technology into some of their headsets. And I might actually get to hear better mics while I'm losing at Apex. Now the Logitech Pro X is the first headset to feature the magical pairing of Logitech and Blue. Let's see how it performs. What's going on, everybody? Jeremy with Detroit Tech. This is the Logitech G Pro X gaming headset, and they promise to make you sound like a pro by utilizing Blue voice technology with an exclamation point. There's a lot to unpack here, so let's get started. First off, at the time of this writing, Logitech has these listed for $129.99 on their website. You also see a pro gaming headset for $30 less. We have the X version, and we'll get into the differences a little bit later. Out of the box, there's a lot of stuff. You have the actual USB DAC dongle. There's a long braided cable with a volume control and mic mute on it. There's a shorter rubberized cable with a mic and a button for hanging up and picking up phone calls. There's a cable splitter if you want to forego the digital aspect of the headset. And there are extra pads for the ear cups and are also kind of terry cloth-like. I like them. Also, there's the mic, and then of course the carrying case, which feels like neoprene if a little bit less dense. I really like the look and feel of these. The soft touch matte black plastic ear cups feel pretty high quality, and the leatherette around the memory foam is pretty comfy, if a bit warm. I love the combination of the brushed and buffed metal on the outside too. The leatherette headband is nicely padded and comfortable on my head too. And for pure aesthetics, I love the stitching and the Pro on top. The rest of the headband is metal and extends with satisfying clicks to get easily big enough for my giant head. And with the exposed cables, I get a very Bear dynamic feel from these. You get a very premium feel overall from these headphones. These are quite comfortable. The leatherette ear pads are installed, at least to start, and they're just so luxurious feeling, but again, really warm. The cloth pads feel a lot cooler, just not quite as luxurious. The clamping force is solid, but these are light enough where you don't really notice. They'll sit comfortably and solidly for most users, assuming you're sitting and not headbanging or something stupid. Audio on these is fine. I'm not gonna go super deep into the sound signature, but here's kind of the TLDR. With the flat EQ on the software, these do tend to be a bit bass forward. Switching to the cloth ear pads does lessen the low end a bit. The low end is never really super tight and can get a little bit muddy, especially when you have a lot going on like at Welcome Home by Coheed and Cambria? Whatever. Upper register detail is just okay. In Total's Rosanna, I didn't quite hear as much reverb as I would have liked. And as with most Colesback headphones, the soundstage pretty narrow, though the stereo imaging is pretty decent. Basically, if you're only buying these for the headphone aspect, I'd suggest the Grado SR80E instead, better detail and wider soundstage, and a little bit cheaper. I did mention EQ in the software. You can dive into Logitech's G-Hub software and fine tune the sound signature. It's a 5-band EQ, and there are some presets in there. While I think you are limited by the actual driver hardware, it gets pretty cool because if you select the FPS preset, you can see 2200 is boosted a little bit. That's right where the footsteps tend to land. That's why I like my DT990s and the SR80Es so much for gaming. They're boosted right around there. It really helps you hear other teams coming. Although, if you like playing Apex, like I do, you still won't hear them coming on a zipline because for some reason, that's just completely silent. Guys, why can't you just, you know what? Never mind. Different topic. These also boast DTS Headphone X 2.0 object-based surround sound. This is a 7.1 surround system just from 2 drivers. I tried it out and then watched a couple other videos on the headset to see what the other people thought. And it looks like Corey and I are kind of in the minority here. I don't like it. In fact, I kind of hate it. The little test they have in the software is cool. And all I can tell, there's a rear surround channel, but in game, it's just a bunch of extra reverb. For me, it actually makes it harder to tell where the enemy players are. And look, I won't say it's as bad as the Creative SX5 garbage, but I'm definitely not going to suggest you use that. Just keep the setting on FPS for your games and you'll be just fine. So what about the mic? Is this the perfect marriage of Blue microphones and Logitech gaming? Not as perfect as I would like to say. I was really hoping we get some Blue hardware into the mic, but really it's just Blue voice with an exclamation point is really all about the software.
The mic by itself is pretty standard for a headset mic. It's clear if a bit mid-rangey and not quite as harsh as some can be. But the real magic happens when you enable Blue Voice with an exclamation point. This opens up a whole new level of customization. First, and I really love this, you can record a short sentence and play it on loop so you can hear how it affects your voice.
And a quick side note as well, you can even dial in like the side tone, so letting you hear yourself all the time. That way you can tell if like you're just yelling, so you don't feel quite as muffled. That's one of the many reasons I love open back headphones. Anyway, back to the review. You can select a bunch of different presets. They have their own Pro Gamer presets and some Blue Voice with an exclamation point presets. You can even click here to browse presets other people have made and even save your own for other people. Each preset shows a 3-band EQ, so you can get an idea of what's getting boosted or attenuated. But when you click the Advanced Controls button, things change in really, really big way. Now, this is amazing, especially for somebody like me who has a background in mixing. Here you have the high pass filter, noise reducer, expander gate, a de-esser, compressor, and a limiter. And with each of these, except the high pass filter, you can click the 3 dots and get even more granular control. The high pass filter just cuts down on low end rumble. If you live near a train or big road where a bunch of big trucks pass by, this is super helpful. The noise reducer works just fine. I find it to be a bit finicky. Like you have to really dial it in and mess with it to get it to not sound unnatural, at least sound unnatural to me. The expander gate is useful if you have a lot of background noise, like where you're sitting. A gate will drop the volume of everything unless the sound reaches a certain threshold. Then it actually allows it through. The de-esser is one of my favorite controls on here. You can dive in and find right where your sibilant sits and get rid of a lot of harshness there. The compressor is a pretty standard compressor. It compresses the dynamic range. It will attenuate the volume basically when you get loud, so you won't blow other people's ears out when that sniper gets you for like the 50th time and you like freaking rage quit. Never happened to me today. The limiter is a compressor, but harder, basically. It sets a hard ceiling, stops everything above that. It's basically a compressor that just stops it dead. I do wish there were more EQ bands though, but at least you can adjust the frequency and even the width of the curve you're adjusting. For me, I tend to find the TSM Daquan, preset to be the best for me. I like the boost at 180 Hertz instead of 200. My voice, does some weird stuff at 200.
The Pro presets aren't anything crazy. They're great places to start. You find one you like and start tweaking. I'm using the TSM Daquan preset currently. Then you can get into the Blue Voice with an exclamation point presets. Here's the AM radio station, of course the FM radio station. Then there's the Broadcaster 1 and the Broadcaster 2, a little bit different, but they're making sure you have a nice big boomy voice. And then there's the high voice loud and soft options and the low voice loud and soft options. And I'm pretty sure Corey will agree I need to start with the loud voice option.
Just saying. Nothing, don't. Nope. I will say this, while the Blue Voice with an exclamation point really makes this mic sound better and gives you a lot to work with, it's still not as good as my Rode NT USB or Corey's Blue Yeti. The Pro X Gaming sounded pretty good, but a bit manufactured. The other two mics just sounded more natural. Mind you, they're both large diaphragm condenser mics and will almost always give you a better low end than something this small until you start getting into the really professional stuff. Now you might still be thinking about those cheaper G Pro gaming headsets. They're very similar. In fact, as far as I can tell, they look exactly the same. What you won't get with the regular G Pro is the Blue Voice with an exclamation point technology, or the surround sound. I personally don't give a crap about the surround sound, but the mic presets and ability to tweak like in-game is pretty great. I don't want to sound like all mid-rangey and like nasally. So ultimately, how do I feel about the headset? I like it a lot. They're comfortable. They give me a great EQ control for gaining a competitive advantage at FPF games. The software is great, allows me to tinker endlessly. I don't love the sound for music or the fact that they're closed back, but as an all-around headset, they're pretty darn good. And overall, I think they're worth the price for the features and quality you're getting. That being said, I'm not going to ditch my dedicated headphones and mic, but that also costs double this headset. I like the flexibility it gives me. I can switch out my headphones without sacrificing on the mic and vice versa. That system just works better for me. And there are a couple types of people in specific that I would really recommend these for. First, if you don't care about music and are only focused on the game, these will work perfectly for you, go for it. They'll also work really well if you can't go over this price point and are trying to figure out how to get a decent mic and headphones for this price. The other person I would really suggest get these is the Traveler. I'm really excited for Corey to start using these when he has to travel for work. I will definitely have a better listening experience now that he'll have the Blue Voice with an exclamation point technology behind it. So honestly, you should check them out. I think they'll fit right in for you. Thanks for watching, everybody. If this video is helpful, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. If you got this far and don't even game, good on you. Just don't hit the thumbs down. Either way, let us know in the comments below what headphone mic combo you used, and we'll catch you in the next one.